In the previous class, I have taught you that how to estimate the heritability by half-shift correlation method. In today's class, we will study how to estimate the heritability by full-shift method. I have told you in the earlier class that the heritability can be estimated by 4 methods: half-shift correlation method, full-shift correlation method, parent offspring regression method, and realized heritability. In today's class, we will study about how to estimate the heritability by full-shift correlation method. In full-shift, what do you mean by full-shifts? The full-shifts are the individuals whose both mother and father are common. Both mother and father are common. Means in animals, the full-shifts are obtained in the animals which give multiple births, which give more than one offsprings at a time. Particularly in smaller animals like sheep, goat, pig, we obtain multiple offsprings, multiple births. So such offsprings, such individuals are known as full-shift, having both mother and father as common. The method used for the estimation of full-shift heritability involves the same step as in half-shift correlation method. Number 1, estimation of grand total, which we have done in half-shift correlation method. Number 2, estimation of correction factor, grand total square divided by total number of observations. Then third step, estimation of total sum of square. Total sum of square means the square of individual observation, its total, and then subtract from correction factor. Fourth step is estimation of Sayre sum of square. Estimation of Sayre sum of square. In case of full-shift, the data is arranged Sayre wise as well as dam wise. First dam mated with first Sayre, first dam mated with second Sayre, first dam mated with third Sayre, first dam mated with fourth Sayre, second dam mated with first, second Sayre, third Sayre, fourth Sayre. Means two-way classification of data. One, for example, we can take any data. If we add the data this side, this will be the total of Sayre 1, Sayre 2, Sayre 3 and Sayre 4. And if we add the data this side, it will be the sum of dam 1 and dam 2. Means here the classification of data is two-wise, Sayre wise and dam wise. So for Sayre sum of square, we have to add the summation of individual Sayre. We have to square it and then add with the number of observations per Sayre minus correction factor. For example, in this question, it will be Sayre 1 square divided by number of observations in Sayre 1, means N1, summation total of Sayre 2, its total, number of observations, plus summation of Sayre 3, its square divided by N3, plus summation of Sayre 4, its total divided by N4 minus correction factor. Then next step is estimation of dam sum of square. Means we have to add the data dam wise. Here there are two dams. So summation of dam 1 square divided by N1 plus summation dam 2 square minus correction factor. Then the next step will be step will be estimation of error sum of square. Estimation of error sum of square. And error sum of square will be total sum of square minus Sayre sum of square plus DAM sum of square. Okay. So for the steps will be estimation of grand total, estimation of correction factor, estimation of total sum of square, estimation of Sayre sum of square, estimation of DAM sum of square, and estimation of error sum of square. Then we have to prepare ANOVA table. ANOVA table. In case of full set correlation method, in case of ANOVA, we always analyze partition the different components of variation. In case of full set method, the variation among the individuals, the cause of variation among the individuals is of two types, that is genotype and environment. Here the cause of genotype in case of full set method will both Sayre as well as DAM, because the offsprings they differ, they get their genotypically different. This one offspring is genotypically different from another offspring because of Sayre and DAM, and the environmental factor, that is the error. So here there will be three components, whereas in the case of half set correlation method there was only two sources of variation, that was Sayre and error, whereas in the case of full set correlation method there are three sources of variation, that is Sayre, DAM and error. Degree of freedom, sum of square, mean sum of square, and expected value. Serial number, source of variation, degree of freedom, sum of square, mean sum of square, and expected value. Serial number, first source of variation will be Sayre, means the two offsprings differs with respect to the Sayre. Number 2 is DAM. Number 3 is error. Sayre degree of freedom will be S minus 1. DAM degree of freedom will be S D minus 1. And error degree of freedom will be SD K minus 1. Sum of square, here we will write the value of Sayre sum of square which we have estimated previously. Here we will write the value of DAM sum of square, and here we will write the value of error sum of square. Then mean sum of square, this will be Sayre mean sum of square, and it will be equal to Sayre sum of square divided by degree of freedom. This is DAM mean sum of square. It is DAM sum of square divided by degree of freedom. And this is error mean sum of square. Error mean sum of square will be equal to error sum of square divided by degree of freedom. Expected value. This value will be equal to the value of sigma square W. This will be sigma square W plus K1 sigma square D, and this will be equal to value of sigma square W plus K1 sigma square D plus K2 sigma square S. The value of sigma square W, this means this value, it will be equal to the value of error mean sum of square. The value of sigma square W plus K1 sigma square D, it will be equal to the value of DAM mean sum of square, and the value of sigma square W plus K1 sigma square D plus K2 sigma square s is equal to value of sire mean sum of the square. The value of heritability is equal to sigma square s plus sigma square d divided by sigma square s plus sigma square d plus sigma square w. T, the value of t, and then the value of heritability by full set correlation method is equal to 2 times t. T is the intraclass correlation. K is equal to K1 plus K2 divided by 2. K1 is average number of progeny per dam, means how much average number of progeny per dam means total number of progeny divided by number of dam, and K2 is average number of progeny per site. Now, page number 138, question number 4. The data on egg weight at 40 weeks of age in a strain of white leghorn were obtained randomly. There were 41 sires, each mated with 3 dams, producing 3 viable female progeny per dam. Calculate the heritability. Here it is given wrong. It is not the heritability by half SIP, but it is the calculate the heritability by. It is not half SIP. It is full SIP. Calculate the heritability by full SIP analysis method and draw your interpretation. In this question, all the process has been solved, means sire sum of the square has been estimated, and ANOVA, the result of ANOVA table is given, and from that ANOVA table you have to estimate the value of sigma square w, sigma square d, sigma square s, and you have to estimate the heritability value. In exam, you can be given only the ANOVA table, and from ANOVA table you can estimate the value of heritability. So we will solve this question here. Page number 138 of your manual, question number 4. Page number 138, question number 4. This is the method. Here the ANOVA table is given, and from this ANOVA table, you have to estimate the value of heritability. Sum of square, mean sum of square, expected. Serial number, source of variation, degree of freedom, sum of square, mean sum of square, and expected value. First source is sire, between sire. Second source is between sire and within dam, means dam source of variation. Third source of variation is between progeny within dam, means error. Degree of freedom is given here, 40. Sire degree of freedom, then because here the number of sires are 40 and the sire degree of freedom, the number of sires are 41, therefore the sire degree of freedom will be 41 minus 1, that will be 40. Then the dam degree of freedom is 41 minus 41 into 3 minus 1. So 41 into 3 minus 1 will be 2. For S is 41, D is 3. So if you, first of all, we have to subtract 3 minus 1, that will be 2, and 41 into 2, it will be 82. Then between progeny within dam, it will be SDK minus 1, means 81, SD means 82, 82 into 3 is A. and it will be is equal to 242. The degree of freedom, dam degree of freedom will be 82 and it will be 240. Okay. Then sum of square is also given 954. It is that sum of square. Dam sum of square and this is error sum of square. Okay. These values are given, that is degree of freedom, sum of square, dam sum of square and degree of freedom, error degree of freedom and sum of square. From this we can estimate the value of mean sum of square. Psi mean sum of square will be 954 divided by 40. This is the value of psi mean. MS is matlab mean sum of square. Psi mean sum of square 954 divided by 40. It is 23. 23.9 is 24. This value is dam mean sum of square and it will be equal to dam sum of square means 1316 divided by 82. 1316 divided by 82. It is 16.04 means 60. And this is error mean sum of square. Error mean sum of square. It will be 1979 means error sum of square divided by degree of freedom. It's degree of freedom. And it will be 1979 divided by 242. It is 8.17 means 8. Okay. Expected value will be sigma square W. Sigma square W plus K1 sigma square D. Sigma square W plus K1 sigma square D plus K2 sigma square S. The value of sigma square W will be equal to the value of error mean sum of square. Sigma square W is equal to 8. Then sigma square W plus K1 sigma square W D is equal to the value of dam mean sum of square. Sigma square W plus K1 sigma square D equal to dam mean sum of square value is equal to 60. Sigma square W value is equal to 8. K1 is average number of progeny per dam, and in this question the K1 is given as K1 and K2. K1 is given as 3. K1 is given as 3 into sigma square D is equal to 16. So 3 sigma square D is equal to 16 minus 8. 3 sigma square D is equal to 8. Sigma square D will be equal to 8 divided by 3 and it will be equal to 2.66. 2.6. Then the value of, this is the value of sigma square D, then value of sigma square it is equal to value of psi mean sum of square. This value is equal to 16. K2 is average number of progeny per sire. It is given as 3 into sigma square S equal to value of sire mean sum of square is 24. So sigma square S will be equal to 24 minus 16 divided by 3. Sigma square S is equal to 24 minus 16. 24 minus 16, it is 8. 8 divided by 3. The value of sigma square S is also equal to 2.6. So we have estimated all the three values: sigma square W, sigma square D and sigma square S. Sigma square W is equal to 8. Sigma square D is equal to 2.6 and sigma square S is equal to 2.6. So T will be equal to 2.6 Sigma square S is 2.6, 8 plus 2.6 plus 2.6. 2.6 plus 2.6, 5.2. 5.2 plus 8, 13.2. Then 5.2 divided by 13.2, 0.39. Intra-class correlation is equal to 0.39 and heritability will be equal to 2 times T. By full shift correlation method, heritability is equal to 2 times T, is 2 into 0.39 and heritability will be equal to 0.39 into 2, 0.78. The value of heritability by full shift correlation method in this question is 0.2. So this is the entire steps which are involved in the estimation of heritability by full shift correlation method. In both half shift and full shift correlation method is same. We have to estimate first of all grand total, then correction factor, then total sum of the square. Difference is psi and dem. In case of half shift correlation method, there is only one way classification of data, means the data is arranged either psi wise or dem wise. Whereas in the case of full shift correlation method, there is two-way classification of data with both psi and dem. So in half shift correlation method, we will estimate either psi sum of the square or dem sum of the square. But in the case of full shift correlation method, we will estimate both psi sum of the square and dem sum of the square. And then we will estimate the ANOVA. Here in the case of half shift correlation method, we have to estimate only two components of variance, that is psi component of variance, that is sigma square S, and error component of variance, that is sigma square W. Whereas in the case of full shift method, we estimate three components of variance, that is sigma square S, sigma square T and sigma square W. Sigma square S means psi component of variance, sigma square T is dem component of variance, and sigma square W is error component of variance. In case of half shift correlation method, the heritability is obtained by multiplying the inter-class correlation with 4. Whereas in the case of full shift correlation method, the heritability is estimated by multiplying the inter-class correlation with 2. In half shift correlation method, the value of inter-class correlation or T is equal to sigma square S divided by sigma square S plus sigma square W. Whereas in the case of full shift correlation method, the inter-class correlation is equal to sigma square S plus sigma square D divided by sigma square S plus sigma square D plus sigma square. So this is the entire step for the estimation of heritability by full shift correlation.